Hi, I'm Kate with The Productive Teacher, and today we're going to play the word maker game with the Ask word family. Here's how we play. All one-syllable words are made up of an onset and a rime. The onset is the letter or letters that come before the vowel in the word. The rime is the vowel and any other letters that come after it in a word. Word families all have the same rime, so I can make new words by combining different onsets with the rime. In WordMaker, I'm going to try out all of these onsets and see which ones make words. As I make the words, you can listen to me read the words, you can read along with me as I read the words, or you can mute your video and read the words yourself. Let's get started. Bask. Bask is a word. Cask. Cask is a word. Dask. Dask is not a word. Fask. Fask is not a word. Gask. Gask is not a word. Hask. Hask is not a word. Jask. Jask is not a word. Cask. Cask is not a word spelled this way because when we have the letter A, we spell the k sound before it using the letter C. Lask. Lask is not a word. Mask. Mask is a word. Nask. Nask is not a word. Pask. Pask is not a word. Rask. Rask is not a word. Sask. Sask is not a word. Task. Task is a word. Vask. Vask is not a word. Wask. Wask is not a word. Yask. Yask is not a word. Zask. Zask is not a word. Chask. Chask is not a word. Fask. Fask is not a word. Shask. Shask. Shask is not a word. Thask. Thask is not a word. Quask. Quask is not a word. Wask. Wask is not a word. Blask. Blask is not a word. Brask. Brask is not a word. Clask. Clask is not a word. Crask. Crask is not a word. Drask. Drask is not a word. Flask. Flask is a word. Frask. Frask is not a word. Glask. Glask is not a word. Grask. Grask is not a word. Plask. Plask is not a word. Prask. Prask is not a word. Slask. Slask is not a word. Smask. Smask is not a word. Spask. Spask is not a word. Stask. Stask is not a word. Trask. Trask is not a word. Scrask. Scrask is not a word. Shrask. Shrask is not a word. Splask. Splask is not a word. Squask. Squask is not a word. Strask. Strask is not a word. Thrask. Thrask is not a word. Great job. Let's see how many words we made. All right, here we made 5 words in the Ask family. Thanks so much for playing today. I'll see you next time.